Alrighty. Hey everybody, or the one person watching just now. More people should trickle in here in a few seconds. And then we'll get started with the stream. Hope you're doing well, my man. Probably should put a poll question up here. Think the Deathcross will cause a large move. See down this week. Question mark. Okay. Hold on one second, my man. And here our Lake, happy to see you back, my man. I'm trying to, oh, there we go. There, go there, and I think we should be fine. There we go. Hey, Lewis Scratcher. Hey, Bolindolment. Inbolment. There you go. Okay, I want to make sure I get your name right. And hey, Monica, happy to see you guys back as well. Hey, happy Sunday. It is a good Sunday. After this, I'm gonna be watching some football here, which will be fun. But I've been busy working all day and cleaning. I haven't cleaned in such a long time, guys. Been so busy. Loki says hello. He's over here in the corner. Alrighty. Probably let's do this very fast. And hey, Puma, happy to see you back, man. And hey, Pro Magoo, it's a fake out. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. We'll talk about some of those support levels that may be a little bit more hidden over the next few minutes. I know. Here, I'm going to give Loki a treat very fast. He's just looking at me like, dude, we were supposed to be outside right now. Here you go. Come on. Oh, you should, good boy. You want one more? Dude, your nails are sharp. You want one more? One more? Yep. There you go. All right. Yeah, I love you too. Yeah. You want to say hi? Yeah. Huh. Okay. So, and hey, Coinface, hey, Tony, hey, Pro, Magoo, hope you guys are doing well. So let's talk about what's going on with Bitcoin right now. I don't know. Actually, I don't think you guys are going to be able to hear this the way I have my mic set up. But right now I have like peaceful water sounds behind me. Maybe if I just like hide my head, you guys will see that, that right there. If you guys can hear it and if it's a problem, let me know. But I think I tweaked my mic just enough so where you guys really can't hear ambient noises around me. So like my air conditioner could be going on and you guys wouldn't be hearing that. I'm hoping you guys won't hear the trickling water behind me. I usually listen to something like this when I'm working. This is something from an app on LG TV or something like that. So Joe, you guys usually probably won't see it behind me too much. But okay. Hey, Alex, and hey, Thomas. Hope you guys are all doing well. So let's talk about what's going on with the market here, guys. This is pretty interesting. So we have, dude, okay, Loki's just putting his head in my lap and just being a little pouty pout. So since 5 o'clock last night Pacific time, since we started off the new day candle, Ethereum is currently down about 6.5%, about 6.3% right now, which is going to be pretty interesting. First of all, there's, I would say, two things you guys really have to be aware of here. We tend to have fake outs before Jerome Powell speaks. Jerome Powell is going to be speaking Wednesday, so we might have some type of short-term reversal going over the next few days, and that reversal might look something like this and just kind of give me a little bit of leeway here as I kind of work around this Ethereum trade. So right now you guys see this trend line right here. It started off here in June 17th and it's worked its way. Loki, what you doing? Over here from what is this, July 13th, we have this trend line. This is currently on a log chart. Okay, so you can see this line right here, but if I take this log chart off here, you're actually going to see this trend line move down below the current breakdown. You can tell that this was a very powerful support, or very good support, because it's taking a lot of force to push us down below that. But now it's time to look at this next one, which is currently at around $1,300 or $1,337. We're currently at $1,377. So keep an eye out for this right here. If there is going to be a reversal, it would be off of this mark right here. In a few seconds, I'm also going to be doing a GANFAN checkup on this using the GANFAN, some of the lows we experienced over here in June, just to see if we're able to use it, if you can actually get some good data out of it. So what I'm going to do here just very fast is let's assume we bounce off of this, just so you guys have a plan going forward into the week here, because it could just be one big fake out and then another fake out. So we could have that breakdown. We could have a fake out, which what I would determine as being a bounce off of this support level, going up until Jerome Powell's talk. And then when Jerome Powell talks, the market just goes down and we have a real breakdown, or not a real breakdown, another breakdown off of this trend line right here. I was a little bit more confused about this one for Ethereum, because usually when I'm looking at Bitcoin and I do this, the line doesn't ultimately move so much. Maybe a good idea to show what I'm talking about is going back over here to the June, what we saw in June. There you go. Right. So you see this breakdown right here. It was still a breakdown no matter what happened. Sure, it distanced itself a little bit, but the line didn't ultimately move too much when you turn off log and turn on log. So this was just me kind of being a little bit extra nerdy about it. I was like, oh, okay, so we have one breakdown, but kind of weirdly enough, you know, Ethereum is going to be doing something a little bit different here. So if this is just kind of a what if scenario, but I kind of want you guys to have it in your back pocket here. If we bounce off, let's say at this level, let me just put a trend line there for today. Let me just take that off and let's move this to right there. Okay. What may happen if I draw a couple trend lines on here? I want to do one thing first just to see if it works. No, it doesn't work there. Okay. So maybe what I'll do instead is I'll put something. Oh, I need the magnet to be off here. Might do an intersection like that. We can put the magnet back on for this one. And we might have some type of falling wedge here. The main goal is we don't want to really, if we're going to bounce, we really don't want to break down below this level though, okay? If we're breaking down below this trend line, all this goes to crap. We start falling back down to at least $1,200, $1,300, and most likely coming back down to like $1,000 really darn fast. One of the interesting things that we've been talking about here over the past few, I guess, months, basically, is that, you know, when Bitcoin crashes, it tends to come down like 5, 10, maybe 15%. But when altcoins crash, they tend to come down a lot more, everybody, just because of how much they've kind of really rallied up. So what I wanted to do very fast here is get rid of all the technicals on this Bitcoin chart. And I want to show you guys all of these monthly charts so you can see which coins have really had really good growth over the past few months and which coins have had that big bounce, but they've already come down. So you're going to see which coins actually have a lot more room to fall, because when Bitcoin falls, they're going to be the coins that kind of fall down a lot more. And if you guys want to think about this in more simplistic terms, everybody, these are the coins that had the best rallies, but they haven't really dropped off so far. Think of Luna from a few months ago before we had the crashing news, but how it was so overbought compared to everything else. When it finally did start falling, it fell down very, very hard. Doge on Mars had something similar actually a couple months ago as well. So you can see Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin looks like it wants to have a little bit of a hump and just kind of drop off. We'll wait and see what happens here. Of course, we might just have a little bit of a cup and maybe we'll bounce off over the next few months. But you can see we've given up a lot of the gains over the past few months. We've given up a lot of those gains. Ethereum, we still have some gains to give up if we want to get anywhere close to that $890 or $900 low that we experienced. So this has a lot more room to fall down, which is why Bitcoin is down 2%, Ethereum is down 6%. You're going to see a lot of this as we kind of go through this list here. Dogecoin has some room to give up. Actually, no, it does have a generous amount of room to give up. If it wants to get back to those lows, yeah, it has to give up like another 18% or so. So that is going to be pretty significant. And Dogecoin is down about 4% right now. ADA, not as much to give up right now. That's kind of nice. You can see it actually has been it had one big boom afterwards, and it looks like it gave all that back up pretty darn quickly. Had another attempt, but you can see it's given up most of its gains here. STMX, see right here, this one looks like it's ready to go. A lot of it's just actually looking at some of these hump patterns here, and which one do you guys want to be looking at? Solo, Solo is really close to this floor here. If Solo starts going, it might go all the way back down here to this next level of support around $19. And it's at $32, 18 to 32. That's if it breaks down below these lows, of course, but still, excuse me. Ethereum Classic, it's down about 6-7% today. This thing has a lot more room to come back down, guys. So be very, very cautious of this one. You see Matic, still that same type of vibe here. Big pump, it definitely has a lot more to come down. Doge on Mars, this one's just been coming down. You can tell the difference between the larger market caps and the lower market caps. The smaller market caps look a lot more like that. The larger market caps look a lot more like this as far as more room to give away. XRP, been kind of flat. It still has some room to give up, of course, but this has been pretty flat so far. It's actually up about 4% today while everything else is down. So I might be getting that boost of some of that news we talked about yesterday. Bitcoin Cash still in the hump. Engine Coin monthly charts. You can see that we're kind of gearing up here for a potential drop. Hopefully we can have some type of bottom. Litecoin is still chugging along. Litecoin doesn't go up as much during a bull market, so it is kind of interesting to watch to see how this one will play out. But Litecoin is like that safe play right now where it doesn't really crash as much as everything else. Apecoin, meme coin, I guess you would say, so it's not going to be following the same rules. Sheeb, having that hump. Mana, Mana is actually showing a little bit more weakness than I thought it would be. Maybe because the metaverse is kind of slowing down quite a bit just because Zuckerberg is having so much trouble with his metaverse. AXS, this one looks like it's about to plummet here. Geez, back to what, like $10 at least, if not going back down to 5. Oosh. You know, DOT looks like it wants to come back down. Lunacy is doing something completely different here. So we're kind of following along that same cycle. One other thing here I want you guys to be aware of, depending on if we do have a larger move down over the next few days, months, whatever, it doesn't really matter too much. Get used to during those Fibonacci, like once we find a bottom and you have like a few weeks to kind of get some information, usually we have a big drop if we do have a crash. Okay, obviously crash. We usually have a spike back up as everybody buys back in to do a dead cat bounce, and then we find another local bottom that's usually over exaggerated, like you might see right here. Okay, Bitcoin does the same thing. A lot of coins do the same thing. This first opportunity to put Fibonacci extension levels is usually the best one. So you guys could have been buying on this dip. You could have been buying the breakout right here, whatever you guys' strategy was. You usually want to start scaling out around the 0.78 level, this blue line here and the white one. I usually get most of my positions out right here, but over the past few crashes, I guess, you could actually hold on a lot more. So what I would say is for later on, if it does manage to get back above the 1, I would move your ultimate stop loss to be something around here, especially if you guys are buying at these lower points. Most of the time, you guys might actually just be buying here and waiting through all this carnage for that one more point right there. So as soon as you get back to the 1 level, I would be moving it. Actually, every time it goes up, I'd probably be moving it back up to that next stop loss here just to be safe. And you can see on this last one that we had, we bought, we came back up, we came to a localized low. And you guys can see here for Ethereum, we did get up here to the white. If you moved up the stop loss, you would have been fine. We got up here. You could have got stopped out there for that 1 if it came all the way back down here. But you can see it eventually grinded all the way up here to the orange one, the 2.618, and then it came back down. So usually that first bounce is usually a really good one for long-term planning throughout like a potential crash. Just so you guys know that. I think you might be able to do the same thing with Bitcoin as well. Let me double check here with the weekly charts. Bounce up. Oh, I should probably get the magnets on here, shouldn't I? Yeah, there you go. Resistance. Okay, right here. You probably would have got stopped at right there if you did my theory, though. Or I guess you could always try to rearrange it to do something more like this, but I don't like doing that so much. Usually the first one is better. Like you see this one, it kind of worked out okay. But you know, those opportunities, if you guys want to use those fibs, you might not get the best exit price, but you usually do get out with a profit, and I think that's the point here. And maybe let's check on this one. Dive, open, close, right there. This is a little bit better of an example right there. We got stopped right there, couldn't even hold the weekly above it, and then we came crashing back down, right? So, you know, hopefully we get better ones than this. Maybe if we went to the daily chart, it might look a little bit cleaner here. So let me see if this works out as well. Up, down. It worked okay. We got some resistance up here, came crashing back down, then came back up. It was a little bit more choppy this cycle. And I think inflation data had part of it over here and inflation data had part of it over there. So we'll see what happens over the next few months though. But I want you guys to kind of have that Fibonacci extension level in your mind. There we go. But it'll happen it's easier for the larger market cap stocks, I'll say. Easier for the larger market cap stocks. And hey, Bideford, happy to see you back. Hey, Alex, happy Sunday. What's going on right now, guys? Hey Thomas, I'm having a pretty good day. It's a lot of cleaning on my part actually, so like I'm busy, but pretty soon I'll just be watching football and that'll be nice. I know the NFL's on today, so let me go NFL and not NFL Stream TV, NFL. What the heck? NFL. There we go. But you got the Patriots winning against the Steelers, Lions just destroying the Commanders, Saints Buccaneers, third quarter only 3-0. Oosh. Jets and Browns are tied, no surprise there. Panthers, Giants tied. Oh, that's interesting. Damn, poor Baker Mayfield. He does not have it anymore. Ravens destroying the Dolphins. And then we got a lot of other stuff that looks like happening towards 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's when I'm going to be watching a lot of stuff. Hey, Michael, happy to see you back, man. Ethereum good long around 1290 or so. What's right here? Oh, you're probably talking about this. Yeah. I'm probably looking for a long, probably closer to like 1350 or so. It'll be interesting to see how much further this comes back down. I know we also have this support level over here. So, and what's that, like 1363? It'll be interesting to see what happens. If you do take that long, let me know how it goes because I'll be interested. And make sure, guys, if you want to see a breakout or anything good happen over the next few weeks, this isn't going to happen anytime soon. But you want to see a breakout, this is going to be a good trend line to see if we're going to have a stronger move off of it. I think as far as Bitcoin's concerned too, I think Bitcoin actually got rejected today. Maybe it's this one. Bitcoin got rejected off of something, and I'm just not remembering what it was. It might be on one of my other charts, but I'll look at it later. Yeah, which one was it? Maybe it was Ethereum that was getting rejected as well. Oh, and just so we can go to this chart very fast. At least on the weekly chart, and oh no, we've moved down a little bit since I started the stream, haven't we? Yeah, we're down about 400 points. Jeez. Okay, we're close to breaking down below this Fibonacci circle. While it's not going to be the most devastating thing in the world, oh, there we go. Sorry, I had the log still on. I was wondering where the 2-to-1 Ganfan level right here was. It okay? Oh, there we go. Okay, we're still sitting upon this Fibonacci circle. That's good. Okay, sorry, I had the log off. Everything I made on this was with log on, so I want to keep it with log when I'm looking at all this data. But yeah, so we're still above it. We're looking okay here. We might crash down below it next week. Who knows? But again, if there's going to be a fake out here as far as Bitcoin, we do have a strong 2-to-1 Ganfan level. I think normally the 2-to-1s are something that I see are the strongest of all the Ganfans. I don't know exactly why. The math kind of says they are, but they're usually pretty strong as far as support. So maybe we have a little bit of a support level coming next week for a little bit of a bounce. That may be kind of nice. I don't think we have any big news next week besides Jerome Powell doing the interest rate hikes. And I think the market is pricing an about 75 basis point rate hike. But if he does anything higher, we might come into full on contact with this 2-to-1 Ganfan level. And if we break that, unfortunately, at least from the weekly chart perspective, so this will take some time, everybody, we are going to be heading back down to retest some of those lows we experienced in June. And you may even see some coins go below their June lows, causing a little bit more chaos in the market. As I'm looking right now on, TradingView right here, Bitcoin's down about 500 points. Ethereum's down about 6.5%. Doge is 4% down. ADA is 4.5% down. STMX is 4.5%. Sol is 4. Ethereum Classic is down 7%. Matic is down 4. Dogelon Mars is down 5. XRP is up 4.5%. Bitcoin Cash down 5, Engine down 5, FTM down 5, Litecoin down 3, Ape down 6, Sheep down 4, Mana down 3, AXS down 4, Dot down 4, Luna down 9, Link down 3, and ICP down 4, and so forth. And the Luna Classic is down like 9%. So you are seeing altcoins start to get flooded out here a little bit. So they might be a little bit more worried of what's to come this week. So just be careful with them. Those altcoins are definitely dropping pretty fast. But we've been down below this Fibonacci circle once before, and we've managed to get back up. We haven't broke down below it on the weekly yet, so I'm putting more stock in the weekly at this point than the daily. But you guys can see this was a level of resistance we had a little bit of trouble with, but once we popped back up pretty darn nicely. And so keep an eye on this 2-to-1 Ganfan level. We were lucky enough to bounce off of it once. Let's see if we're able to bounce off of it again, or if we're going to be breaking down below it, unfortunately, right? Okay, so let's do this very fast. Let's go over here, this Bitcoin one. Oh, this is the trend line. No, never mind. That's not the trend line I was thinking about, but okay. We're close for Bitcoin breaking down here as well. This is a smaller trend line, of course. The real trend line for Bitcoin is actually way down here around 687. So small one, larger one down here. I'd put more stock if you're going to buy at this trend line than I would over here. Of course, the support over here is something we really don't want to break down below. Okie dokie, everybody. Let's go over here to the 15-minute chart. Let's keep an eye on what's going on. And then maybe what it'll actually do for us is I'll open up another Bitcoin chart. Let's go this one. I'll do the same thing. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. Let's open that one up. There we go. And we'll have the second chart here. And there we go. All right. And if you guys have any coins or stocks you want to look at, feel free to ask. And hey, Monica, are you planning to buy NVIDIA as possible drop on Monday for a long time position? Same for Apple and FTNT for any time soon. It'll be a good time to accumulate. Yes to all of them. Mostly I want to buy NVIDIA though for a long term. The way I put it is this. I'm going to be buying some. I've already been accumulating a little bit over time, not really so much of NVIDIA. After that news came out, I kind of actually sold my shares off for a small profit, like the smallest of profits. My worry here is that I'm only buying some long-term positions here just in case we found a market bottom, or we're going to find a market bottom sometime over the next 3 to 4 months. My feeling is we're going to go into a worse recession, since we're already seeing more and more layoffs occur, and you're going to see the market fall off of a cliff over the next 7 to 8 months, kind of going back to that theory of the NASDAQ and what happens as we break down below this weekly moving average here. Now, that may happen 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, or that may happen like 4 or 5 months from now. We don't know. We might have a bounce, or we might have a bottom. Because what could always happen here, guys, there's a few different scenarios. We have a bottom, we could try to have another bottom, and we could try to break out above that level and have a double bottom and start moving on. More realistically, I would probably say we end up having some type of resistance level up here. We bounce, and then maybe we try to do this for a little bit of time before breaking down. That might be something, get a little bit more choppy, where ultimately the NASDAQ is going sideways, but there are some plays that are working out and going higher. There are some plays that are going down, and then most things are just kind of moving in the middle zone right here. I would say Apple is something I assume would probably go more choppy, but I'm saving the majority of my my ammo, my powder, for a potential move where Apple actually does, or the NASDAQ does break down below that 200 moving average, and we have a similar crash to maybe the 2008 financial crisis or the dot-com bubble. And I'm looking to really buy heavily during those periods of time, because what might happen for Apple if we really do get in a bad spot, and I think I've actually seen this more on CNBC, is them talking about what happens if we have a really bad market coming up. They've been having somebody called like the chart master come on, who does kind of what I do with you guys, but since he only has like 30 seconds or a minute, he has to be very, very like non-specific about everything he's talking about. He'll just draw general trend lines and like just that's it, and with little arrows. But basically, let me see if I can find Apple here or any one of these stocks that we're talking about. There we go, Apple. Okay, let's get rid of all this stuff here. Let's get rid of all the lines. Okay, this is the weekly chart for Apple. I would say when everything's said and done, there's an opportunity for Apple to actually get back down to like $103, maybe $105, something like that, where we actually do break down below the 200, and it's just not a fun time. So I think there's an absolute possibility that I want to be buying Apple under 120. I think reasonably Apple can get under $120. If we take with the price now, go to 120, that's about a drop of 20%. Based off of how the market's been reacting and how everything is starting to slow down here. Layoffs are increasing. Europe is going to have more trouble. Russia is definitely going to have a lot of trouble. China is already having a lot of trouble. You know, third world developing markets, whatever, they're already going to have a tough time as well. This is where I start to see like, hey, there's a good chance Apple can go well below 140, 150, the current price. And I want to try to buy in bulk closer to 120 to $100 there. You know, we'll see how bad everything gets again. But in relative markets here, like if you think about it, Apple here, since the highs, Apple's only fell down 17% from the highs. To me, it seems kind of overbought right now from a long-term perspective, depending like how you view this economy. But you know, historical bear markets here, if we go back over here to like 2000 financial crisis, it dropped about like 62% there. In this last cycle, where it wasn't a complete like a financial crisis or a bubble, it fell down about 45%. And this one right here at the top from right here, it fell down only 30%. So if you want to go off of like at least 40%, that's still bringing you down to like $110 if we're going to go through our normal bear market cycle here. So if anything, I'd be buying long-term puts, even though I kind of want to time those puts a little bit better. But we did just break down below the 20-week moving average again. Normally, this does mean a little bit of bad news, but it's been a while since we've actually traded below it, right? So, you know, I think Apple and a lot of these other stocks can go down more. Nvidia, I think, is probably going to crash below its 200 weekly moving average because of the bad news with EVGA no longer partnering with them. It's going to be a disaster. EVGA is a very trusted brand. I love EVGA. I don't even know much about, you know, graphics cards and stuff, but all my friends say you got to go with an EVGA. It's nice and simple, and you're going to like it a lot. And I've loved them quite a bit here. But you see, Nvidia, it's no stranger to going below the 200 weekly moving average, but it's, you know, this is all the way back here in June 2013. this thing could come down hard. And I'm talking about like 75, like another 50% from where it is now. Nvidia is just having the worst luck possible because they bet so much on crypto staying popular for so long, and basically the market not crashing, so miners would keep on buying all their products. And unfortunately, we're about to have a death cross here where the 20 week is going to cross down below the 100. This will probably take a few weeks here, but it's going to happen faster since we're probably just going to break down below the 200. But the last time it broke down, you know, it was just a very choppy, not a good market. Look at that big boom right there in 2009, financial crisis, almost a double bottom here. Broke down again right here, more of choppiness led for a while. So, you know, it's just not overall looking too good for me. And then you're also going to see stuff like Facebook here. Facebook is losing a lot more money faster than other stocks because a lot of Facebook's revenue comes from ads. And if small businesses they don't have enough money to actually advertise on Facebook, you're going to see their money drop very, very quickly. Just to be, so you guys can see what's happening. 384, current price is 145. It's already lost 63% of its value. All right. So it's coming down hard. And depending on how bad all of this turns out, you can see a lot of these stocks went through splits. So, you know, Facebook wasn't $18 a few years ago. You're going to see support levels that start breaking down, whether it's this one at 136, this one right here at 122, or this one right here below it at 114, or the next really one right there at 89. There's a good chance Facebook comes all the way down below $100 before all said and done. Which is why this is going to be such a crazy ride for everybody to experience. Let me see. I just want to test something out very fast. Fibonacci level. This is from a long time ago. It will not work now. It just don't. I just want to see if this worked at all. No. I mean, a little bit there. I guess a little bit. Not really too much though. Did it work out over here? High, low. Yeah, it worked out a little bit, not as much as I would like. That orange. Yeah, I guess it did work out. Okay. But yeah, so I mean, I'm going to be buying a little bit of the dip, but it's kind of like I'm buying a dip to make sure if it is the bottom, I'm not missing out. If we're going off of a historical bear market, a lot of these stocks have a lot more they're going to be coming down, unfortunately. Hopefully we find a bottom sooner than later, but if we don't, you know, you're going to see Apple down close to $100. Let's say $110, $115 maybe, but I'd say if you want to call it easy, $120. And hey, Starscream, happy to see you back, man. Life is good. Thanks for all you do, and I appreciate that very, very much, man. Let's see. And hey, Tony, you need Matic at 31 cents again? Oh gosh, I hope I can get back up there anytime soon. What's the price for Matic right now? Around 79 cents. Or down from there, I guess. I mean, I think it can, but we're gonna have to wait for another big drop. I have no idea when this drop is going to be coming, guys. I mean, from a time perspective, that's why we use Fibonacci circles to kind of have an idea of what's going on at a specific time frame. We have a big move of volatility coming if we break down below this green line right here, this Fibonacci circle. We also do have a Fibonacci circle right here, this blue line curved around. Those are both two time frames like, hey, get ready for some increased volatility here. We don't know if it's going to be going up or down. I would say probably most likely down since we're breaking down below the circle. But right here, you know, this one's going to be interesting to see what happens after we break out this blue one. And that doesn't happen until, well, okay, if we stay at these current levels, it doesn't happen until September 26th that week. So next week, basically. After that, I mean, but if we ever crash sometime this week, then it might take until October 3rd. But I would say we're not going to crash too much. So maybe September 26th to October 3rd is where we might have some more, you might see that sign there, okay? That says, uh-oh, increased volatility is coming. It doesn't mean it's going to be happening the next week after, or that same week. It most likely means, like, you know, you looking back on it, oh my gosh, that was a huge sign that volatility is coming, and then you see us a few months later like, oh man, we're a lot lower, or we're a lot higher. But you saw the pivot happen somewhere around that time frame. Okay, think of these as like half of a Fibonacci, you're using them along with Fibonacci support levels, basically. So you have those Fibonacci lines that are just lines that are flat like a horizontal. This kind of tells you, hey, the pivot might happen while it's coming into contact with that line, the curved line, and the Fibonacci right there. So those impact points, okay? And if we're going off of clusters, that Fibonacci circle comes right around here, right there around the $15,000 mark. Maybe that's what we're looking for. And then we also have another curvature right here around I don't know what time it would be, but way down here on like $13,000, where if we do start coming down pretty hard, that may be another good opportunity for a bounce. Hopefully we don't start breaking down below that one. That would mean symbolize like a $10,000 Bitcoin, which would be like devastating for all altcoins out there. One second. There we go. And Bitcoin's headed still for support. Let's keep an eye on what's going on here. There we go. And let's go to major support. There we go. All right. So we can keep an eye on everything that's going on here. What's going on here? And hey, Perez, why is crypto down so much today? Basically, everybody is getting prepared for Jerome Powell to raise interest rates. And I think you're just seeing people just say, hey, I don't want to deal with this. The last few times the guy's done it, the market has not responded well. Why would I be holding any assets right now if that's the case? On top of that, you do see some really bearish indicators starting to creep up into the market. The big one that we've been talking about here, Perez, has been, let me get the stocks here for a second. Actually, let's go over here to this one longer term. Okay. The biggest one being here is weekly. There we go. We're about to have this Deathcross here. So where the 20-week moving average crosses down below the 200, there's still a good chance we could actually bounce going into this and we just get rejected off of the 20. So keep that in mind. But basically, this has never happened before. And because this has never happened before, this is just a very, like a bad omen, if you will. Last time we had a death cross on the weekly chart was right here, and look what happened afterwards. We had a death cross right here. Look what happened afterwards. We had a death cross right here. Look what happened afterwards. Even though there's still a little bit of time, look what happened afterwards. We had a death cross right here. Look what happened afterwards. Sorry, my TV went mute for a second. I think I just replayed the cycle. And then, yeah, we don't have any much more history besides that. But even through all of history, or all of Bitcoin history here, we have 2015, we had a bear market. We didn't break down here. We didn't have the 20-week breakdown below the 200. During the 2018 crash, 2019 crash, it never broke down below the 200. COVID crash was too fast, so it didn't even come close. Now it's about to happen for the first time. I think people are starting to get more prepared for this. And I think also you've seen that sentiment out there with a lot of crypto influencers, YouTubers, people like myself, that have started to get a little bit more bearish. I think if you go back like a month ago, 2 months ago, a lot of people were calling that the market bottom, not just influencers, but people on CNBC, Fox Business, MSNBC, Yahoo News, Bloomberg. They were kind of saying, hey, this is the bottom, or at least a lot of the guests they had on their show said, oh, this is the bottom. We're loading up here. We're going to be holding for the long term. We think inflation is only going to be going down from here, and there's not going to be any more disruptions. And by September, Jerome Powell will be able to do 0.25 basis point rate hike or a 50 basis point rate hike. That's kind of been thrown out of the window now with this kind of really high inflation number we got last week. So, you combine all that together, everybody thought this was going to be the bottom. It still might be. But people's expectations have kind of moderated a little bit, I guess you would say. And that's led to a lot of people just saying, hey, when Jerome Powell comes out, I don't want to be part of this. And on top of that, there's a fear. I don't think it will happen, even though I want it to happen. There's still a fear that Jerome Powell will raise interest rates by 100 basis points instead of the 0.75 that everybody's expecting. I don't think he has the cojones for that, so to speak. I think you guys know my opinions on Jerome Powell as far as like how I think he's chasing inflation, not getting ahead of inflation. Because at this point, I already think it's like we're in a recession. It's probably going to get worse. Peel the band-aid off now, get inflation under control. That way, when you need to, you can start to lower interest rates. But he's chasing it. And if he's chasing it, guys, this is what I mean. If he's chasing it into a recession, that's just going to make the recession that much more worse. I'd rather have this really, like, we're in a very mild, like very, very mild recession right now. There's layoffs occurring and unemployment might be going up eventually, but we're in a very mild recession. If he has to keep on raising interest rates while we actually get into the worst economy part of this recession, it's just going to be much more of a disaster. But that, that's kind of what's going on right now. I'd put a lot of stock in this Deathcross though. And then if we want to do one other thing here, what's this right here? Why is this not there? Oh, this is a whole different chart. Okay. Okay, this should be it. This isn't it? Whoa. What's going on here? What's going on here? Chart. Okay. I'm a little confused about this chart actually. So this is the Bitcoin weekly chart with the EMAs. This should have already dropped down below, but this might, okay, so this is Bitcoin Tether. Let me have, what happens when I go with Bitcoin USD? It's already happened. Okay, so actually this might be kind of interesting here. Sorry guys, there's a really weird difference between USD and Tether. I just hate it because you have to look at two different charts when it comes to Bitcoin to kind of get an understanding. On the Bitcoin dollar chart, we've already had that death cross, okay? On the Bitcoin Tether chart here, and I normally look at the dollar chart just because the dollar chart has more data on it, right? It goes all the way back here. It's like, 2011. When you go to the Bitcoin Tether chart, it only goes back over to like September of 17, 2017. I liked all the other data. However, what's going on right here? Yeah, we don't have all that information, which kind of sucks. Off of the Tether charts that maybe more people use these, you'll see we actually haven't had the death cross yet. We'll also be having a death cross on the EMA this week as well from the Bitcoin Tether charts. Death cross. Oh, and the death cross actually happened later in this scenario, right here, right before the drop. That's interesting. Well, as if you guys remember the other one from the other one. Oh no, I didn't go back to EMA. No, Bitcoin. That's fine. This one happened beforehand. I guess that's the SMA versus the EMA though. So SMA I like is usually a little bit better of an indicator, but if they're going to be happening at the same time, that's going to be double E as bad as well. So, but yeah, that's kind of why everything's going down right now. People are just preemptively like, oh my gosh, the market's probably going to crash. I need to scale it a little bit. It's up to you guys. There's a lot of people that, just go look on Twitter. There's a lot of people that, let me go over here to the daily chart. There you go. There's a lot of people that bought all throughout this area thinking it was just going to be the market bottom. The bull market was going to start there. They might be like getting back to breaking even around these prices where they bought, and now they're like, so that's kind of what's going on this last few days here, besides this little bit of a pop. 15 a read, there we go, and let's kind of watch that play out. Getting closer and closer, but we still have as far as Bitcoin's concerned, $112 before we hit that level. So, close, but not too close. Nah, we're kind of close. And then Mr. Joker, KuCoin interest-free coupon extended until the 23rd. Oh, there you go. So that's not good news right there as well. See, and hey, bro, ApeCoin. ApeCoin's not in the best of shape here, mostly because it just popped up so much over the past few weeks. So you see a nice little pop. It got rejected off of the 20-week moving average here. If you go over to the daily chart, well, first of all, I'd probably just draw this line right here, but I'll probably do it on the daily chart just so it's a little bit more specific. There you go. You got that level of support if you really care about ApeCoin, as far as like breaking down to you want to do a short position on it. There we go. That works out okay. So you're kind of in a smaller pennant at the moment in time. You're closer to people selling off their assets. It looks like the 50-day moving average has been a little bit more of a problem. I wouldn't be trading this right now just because it's in that middle zone. I like to trade when during a breakout or a support level or a breakdown. I usually don't buy in the middle of a pattern. One thing you may see here over the next few days is a squeeze happen, and the squeeze is going to happen between the 50-day moving average and the 20. It's going to break out or break down below either one of these, but most likely if it does break down, it'll come down pretty hard, retest the $4.56 support level, 56-cent support level, excuse me. And then if it does, eventually break down, it'll come back down here to like $4.38, which would be a loss of about like 16% from where it is now. From a, breakout perspective, if it does break out, you might see a price of around 626, or if you're really lucky, getting back up here towards 737, kind of matching up with this resistance level that you have up here, that little cluster right there. So I mean, you know, it's okay to be watching, but it's not really the best thing. It's not in a good position to be acquiring at this moment in time, unless you're trying to do something for the long term. Wait to see what happens as far as the 20 and the 50. You might see a good sized volatility move happen if it does break down below it. I don't know. Let's see. Normally, though, it looks like when it breaks down below moving averages, it doesn't really have the strongest of moves here. Like Bitcoin, you guys know, has really strong moves. So it might just break down. So I might actually just use the trend lines here a little bit more than the moving averages. Although I can say these are levels of support and resistance, it looks like over time. So yeah, support, 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 resistance, support, support. Yeah. So it likes to honor them. But when it breaks down, it looks like it's hard for them to get back above. There we go. There we go. Okay. And hey, like, what levels do you think Algo can hit in the next bull run? I would probably take the market cap and multiply it by 3 as far as here. Which one is it? Algorand. Market cap, all. So 12 billion. It might get close to like 35 billion dollars next market cap, I would say. I mean, it's in a good spot. It's like rank number 30, so it does have a solid business behind it. People believe in it. It might come down a lot more, obviously, over the next few months as we kind of figure out this economy. But I might say, so whatever that price was up here, $2. Maybe get up towards $6-7 or so, which would be a pretty nice investment. Oh, it's already at 30 cents right now. So yeah, I mean, that would be a pretty nice investment if it's all the way up here price. Yeah, around $6-7. I can get up that high. Hopefully they keep everything up though, because if this market turns bad, they're going to have to, you know, shake things up a little bit. See. Oh, geez, yeah, Scaramucci's a weird guy. I don't know why CNBC puts him up as a crypto expert. I have no idea why. No idea why. He just seems like such a weird guy. Let's see. And hey, Tony, while I heard a load the boat call on NVIDIA at 66, the master investor strikes again. What do you call it? Hey, Mike, how you doing? I'm doing well, my man. Thanks, Mehdi. What happened to call on $66? That'd be insane right there. Starscream, what do you think of the stock Fubo? I have 3,500 shares at $4 holding for the long term, but it started moving in the short term. Fubo. So $4. So it's up to 446. I mean, I have this. I mean, I literally bought this back here last summer. So it's like my average is probably close to like 320 or something like that. I'm holding this for the long term. I did what I do normally when it comes to stuff pumping up. I ended up selling some. Actually, I wish I sold at $8, but I ended up selling around like 5. And I bought back low around here, another at the support line around 3. I think 320 or something, the same as I bought it. What I would say is I'm going to be holding this for the long term, but there's a chance it can go through some pain beforehand. You know, during the summertime when things were really crashing, you guys heard me say I'm buying stuff like Robinhood, energy stocks, you know, energy plays. You know, this is something I think that will do fine in the long term, but it's gonna take some time for it to have a true reversal. One of the things I do like about this, if I can go over here and search it up, not Fubio, but Fubo. Go over to the weekly chart very fast. We already had the Deathcross here, but from a relative standpoint, we have found a good bottom, and normally we try to have a reversal off of those bottoms. Who knows how much higher this thing is going to go? But as far as I'm thinking for the long term, my price target has more to do with around $20 than it does under 10. I think it can get back up that high, but it is gonna take some time. Right now, though, it's in full on. You know, like a day trader's got a hold of it. They're pumping it up as much as they can. If it pumps back up to like $9 or $10, I'm probably going to sell it and then wait for it to crash back down like this and then just start over and then just kind of get more allocations. But if you want to take some profit, you know, while the day traders kind of have control over it, definitely go for it. Because I was buying back over here. I didn't get the bottom, unfortunately, like under $3, but you know, these are times when I sell when the day traders get a hold of it, and kind of goes like, day traders are there to kind of make you money if you're swinging something that has a good fundamental. They pump it up, you sell it, and you just get more shares, or you take the profit and get the same amount of shares you had before. Think of a Hood. I was buying Hood all throughout this time. I bought a big chunk over here when it was crashing, and I have like an average around like $8. Now it's up to 10. So you take that $8, you move it up to where it currently is, and I'm up like 28%. I'm already thinking about selling some of this off just because the market gets a lot worse. Things can get bad. And from a weekly chart perspective, I squeeze this long enough. I'm like, I hope this isn't a top neckline break and we're already coming back down to $6 or something over the next few months. Right. So doop, boop, neckline. Horrible error, I know. But so, you know, I'm thinking ahead of time. I'm like, let's see what happens. The thing about it is, though, if I'm buying around here around like $8 and I'm selling that for 30% profit, I am going to be paying taxes at the end of the year, or, you know, during tax season, or quarterly, I guess, for me. But so just be in mind, you do have to pay taxes on some of these smaller trades that you do. So most people just tend to buy and hold because they don't want to have to deal with all the extra taxes. I like those extra profits enough to where I'm going to be willing to pay the taxes on them. But it's a good long-term play for me. The fundamentals are improving, and I like that the fundamentals are improving. Recession worries me, but I think overall it'll be fine when everything's said and done. I'm kind of hoping they get bought out, honestly, but we'll see. The market cap for Fubo is almost $1 billion. It's like 928 million. If it just drops down a little bit more, like here. Oops, not that line. If we just drop back down a little bit, let's just say we drop back down to 350 from $4, like right back down here. Take a 20% loss, it can be easily bought out, I believe, during this bear market. And hey, JR Samples, so we don't really have much to go off of from this specific death cross because it's never happened before. Traditionally, the death crosses that we use on the weekly charts are going to be 20-week moving averages crossing above and below the 50-week moving averages, but we have no data whatsoever on what happens when the 20-week moving average crosses below the 200. It's never happened before. And even talking about Bitcoin and those weekly moving averages here, that's amazing. Okay, good. There's even a chance here that we have the 50 cross down below the 200, and that's never happened before either. Now, that would happen probably in 2023, so that's a while away here, of course. But I mean, yuck, there's an opportunity here for some really bloodshed, so to speak, as far as the crypto market's concerned. Look at the 20 NEV or the 50 NEV, the blue line. Let me see, you guys can see it. My head's not blocking way good. It never comes that close to the 200, hardly ever. Right here, it did a little bit in 2015, but that was a really prolonged bear market there. There's this time right here. Actually, we did come pretty close to that one. Never strike that what I just said here. I guess in the last like 5-10 years, or 5 years, it hasn't happened too much. But what do you call the 20 and the 50 right here? This time we crashed about 62%. Right after it happened right here, we crashed down about 54%. Over here, we crashed down when it happened. The price was down here. We crashed down about 50%. Over here, the price crashed about, I guess in total, 70%. But this first crash was kind of around 50%. The next one after that was kind of around 69. So I'd say maybe 50 for that one. Kind of matches up. But for this one, it's never happened before. That's kind of how bad the markets currently are. We just don't know because this is Bitcoin's first ever bear market during a recession. So, you know, keeping an eye on everything, but yeah, it's just not looking as pretty as we would want. On the monthly chart as well, this is one of our first times breaking below the 50-month moving average. We don't break down below this, right? I mean, we came down below, but we didn't close down below it. This is the first time we closed down below it. So we might be going all the way back down here to 13,000, you know, 6,000 if we're really unlucky. But, you know, it's not looking as good. I'm hoping we can find a bottom soon, guys. I really do. But a lot of it's going to be dependent on what happens during earnings during this next quarter here. And hey, Johnson, outer space home. There we go. space dust for real. Hopefully everything gets better though, guys. As I'm looking at the market, we're still close to a breakdown here, but let's hope that we find some support before the day really finishes off. Let me see what's going on as far as coin market cap's concerned. Hello. Loki's chewing one of his ring toys right next to me, just like Halo. You got to watch out when Loki's chewing a toy next to you. He tends to be very active and move around, but then when he's chomping, he can just like bite your stomach by accident, bite your leg by accident because the ring falls near your leg, and he's like, oh god, it's painful. He has some sharp teeth. Okay. So over the last hour, anything popping up? Nope, nothing's popping up in the last hour. Last 24 hours, ApeCoin's at 5, XRP's at 4.5, Chili's is at 4. So there are some small moves, but not really many here. Much more stuff has been falling down. Luna down 10, Luna Classic down 8, Ravencoin down 7, Atom down 7, EOS down 6, Ethereum Classic down 7. So, and my watch list I think is pretty blood red right now. There we go. Watch list. Last 24 hours, Alpaca Finance is up a teeny bit. RCL, so you can see there's only so much green in the last 24 hours. Everything else is red. Synapse is down 11%. Golem is down 9. Polymath is down 7. Ravencoin 7. We just talked about that. UFO Gaming down 7. Litecoin 7. Reef 6. Whatever. CFG's 6. So yeah, we're kind of in that pickle right now. But usually, you know, again, there's usually a fake run up before Jerome Powell talks. So there may be an opportunity to bounce off of the support here and make some money. Let's see. Anything else here I need to talk to you guys about? Let me deal with my tabs. NFL, how's the games going? Oh, okay. That's a lot of stuff going on. Panthers, Giants going okay. Jets, Browns, Tide. There's a lot of interesting games. Dolphins making a comeback. They need a lot more than that, though. Jaguars killing the Colts. Buccaneers, Saints 3-3 with 14 minutes left. Geez, these guys are just not having the good games, or it's a defensive game as they would call it. Commanders coming back against the Lions. Anything else coming up? No, not for a while. Okay, that's been interesting. Oh yeah, chains. I'm looking at getting a bracelet. Okay, I think that's it, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. Members, I will be having a stream for you guys tomorrow. I don't know the exact time. It'll probably closer to the afternoon, like maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock my time. Maybe around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern time. I'll try to figure it out. It might be around 1. I'll let you guys know in the morning, though. I'm just doing a lot of cleaning, and my sister might have COVID, so I'm like getting prepped with her with medicine. I'm giving her another COVID test today because she tested negative yesterday. But she's like getting those first, like, oh, my chest hurts, my throat's a little bit sore, so I'm gonna be making sure she's fine. So I might be just taking care of her for most of the day tomorrow and doing like an hour, 2 hour stream with you guys. Because I can't have my mom take care of her because my mom's immunocompromised, which means she could like end up at the hospital if she gets COVID. So I'll be pretty busy here for the next few days. But keep an eye on the market. Ethereum is already broken down, but it has a support level here. It might match up with Bitcoin support level right here when Bitcoin has like another 60 bucks it can go back down. Keep an eye on all this, guys. It's just going to be crucial. But the big day, everybody, is Wednesday, and I'll try my best to go live for you guys as far as Jerome Powell's speech and everything, and we'll go over all the information. And I might go live like an hour before he starts speaking, and then say like an hour live after his speech. That way you guys have a good idea of what's going on, and we can kind of watch all this market volatility go through itself, whatever you want to call it, happen. And then, you know, kind of make some trades based off of those big support levels here, okay? But all right, everybody, have a good rest of your weekend, and I hope to see you guys, members, tomorrow, and everybody else Monday, okay? Thanks, everybody, and